First with CBSC. The same lesson, that is the human reproduction. Today we are going to discuss about the menstrual cycle. It is also called ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle. That is the process occur in the human and the primate. It is the characteristic features in the primates only. That is the female human and the ape. This is the characteristic feature of the. It is a characteristic feature of primates. That is the female human and ape also. Female ape also. Okay. So this is one important process that we call the menstruation cycle or ovarian cycle. First, it is a change in the female reproductive system. What is the menstrual cycle? It is actually a change in female reproductive system. Female reproductive system. It is a change occurs in the female body and it is a change in the reproductive system of the female. What is the second peculiarity of this menstruation cycle? It actually prepared the female for fertilization and pregnancy. What is the role? It prepares the female it prepare the females for fertilization, and because of the fertilization the next step is the pregnancy. So it prepare the female for this two process, that is the fertilization and the pregnancy. It starts at the time of the puberty. It starts at the time of puberty. At the time of puberty. And when it starts, that time is called menarche. The puberty, and it is called the first time when this process occurs in the female body. That is called the menarche. It means, what is menarche? First bleeding from vagina. Okay, so this is started at the time of the puberty. It must occur in a periodic cycle. The 1 month period cycle is there. It is 1 month. It is roughly. It is 28 or 29 days. Cycle is there, and this period of one cycle of 28 days or 29 days, that is called the menses. It is a periodic process of 28 to 29 days. In some body it is of 28 days, in some female it is of the 29 days, and this process is a periodic process and we call it menses. What is the meaning of the menses? It means 1 month. 1 month. It is a monthly cycle. It is a monthly cycle which occurs in the female human. It is of 28 days or 29 days. It is vary in different females. Okay. Now next, it remains suspended up to particular age. Okay. It occurs up to a particular age of 45, 48, 50, 52. It is a period of the time. At this time, this process gets stopped in the female body. This process is permanently stopped. This process is permanently stopped. Permanently stopped at a particular age, at the age of, again the ages vary from female to female, 50 years roughly, we must mention it, the 50 years of the age. And this is not a stop suddenly, it is stopped gradually. This process is permanently stopped at the age of 48, 50, 51, 52. This is not the certain. Okay, this is not the certain. This is also not the certain. This varies from female to female. So this process permanently stopped at this particular age, and this process is stopped gradually. It is not a stop all of a sudden. It is a gradual stopping, gradual slow down process occur in the body. So this process is permanently stopped at the age of 50 by a gradual process. Gradual slowdown of the amount of the bleeding, duration increases, and after that this process gets stopped. And when this process gets stopped, this is called menopause. The process is permanently stopped at the age of 50 years nearly by a gradual process, and it is called menopause. Pause means a stop. Okay, pause means the stop. It is called the menopause. So you must have to remember three terms. First, that is the menarche. Second, that is the menses. And third, that is the menopause. So it starts at a particular age of the puberty and it gets stopped at a particular age, because we know that in the female body the number of ovules is fixed before birth. The female body must collect the number of the secondary oocyte in the ovary, and that secondary oocyte further gets converted into ovum. So that number is fixed. So the duration of this cycle, the duration of the menstruation cycle is fixed in the female body, but it varies from one female to another female. During menopause it gets stopped, but sometimes it is stopped because of some different reason also. This process is stopped at the time of the gestation period. This process temporarily stopped. This is not the permanent. Stopped at the time of pregnancy. At the time of pregnancy. And this duration of the pregnancy is called the gestation period. At the time of the gestation period, this process stops up to that time only. Sometimes it gets stopped at the time of, sometimes it is stopped during lactation. What is lactation? The feeding of the milk to the baby. At this time also, in some body, in some lactation period, in some female, this process gets stopped. That is not the fixed one, but during the gestation, the process must stop. That is the fixed one. What is the menstruation cycle? It is actually an ovarian cycle which occur in the human female. That is a prominent character of the human female. And when this process is a process of the continued periodic releasing of the blood, and that is called the menses. When this process starts at the time of the puberty, it is called menarche, and when it gets stopped after a particular age, then it is called the menopause. So this is the menstruation cycle. Now move towards what is the detailing of this process, how this process actually occur, how the hormone and the pituitary gland play the important role during this process. Now this menstruation cycle, actually in the female body, human female body, we are going to discuss about the human reproduction, the human female body. It is completed in 4 phases. It is completed in 4 phases. Now what is the name of the first phase? The first phase is called menstruation phase or menstrual phase. Menstrual phase. It is also called vaginal bleeding. Vaginal bleeding. Okay, Again, this process varies from female to female, but generally we must consider that is the process for 4 to 5 days. This process goes on up to 4 to 5 days in the female body. Now, what is the second phase? The second phase is called follicular phase. Follicular phase. Follicle, you know very well where this name we have studied. We have studied the follicle when we are going to draw the diagram of the ovary. In ovary we see the follicle are there. We must discuss this later. The follicular phase. Follicular phase is also called proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. Okay, we have to discuss in detail. What is the follicular phase? We must have to know. After that, we have to discuss about this. It is a period of 10 to 12 days. It is a period of 10 to 12 days. The third phase. The third phase in this menstrual cycle is called ovulation. Ovulation. You know very well what is the ovulation, because you know we already studied the definition of the ovulation, or we call it the ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase. This is actually not considered as a phase because it is one day event. Occur in just the 14th day of the menstruation cycle. It is one day event that is called the ovulation or ovulatory phase. It is a one day event that occurs in the 14th day of cycle. 14th day of cycle. Okay. The next last phase, which is included in the menstruation cycle, is called the luteal phase. Luteal phase. Okay, what is the luteal phase? Luteal phase. What is the luteal phase? It is actually the secretory phase. It is also called secretory phase because certain secretions occur in this phase. So it is also called the secretory phase, and it is from 15th day to 28th day. It varies from 15th day to 28th day. And after 28th day, again this menstruation phase is started, and this period is going on in the cyclic manner. So this is the outline of the menstruation cycle. With the help of a graphical diagram, we are going to study about the menstruation cycle. 28-day cycle, how it's work in the female body. I am going to draw one graph here. It is divided into various parts. This is the first phase that we mention as the menstrual phase. Then follicular phase. It is the time, that is the 14th day. It is the time of the ovulation. It is one day event, and that is the luteal phase. The whole process is divided into 4 phases. And the part which is participate here, that is the ovary. The process is going on in the ovary. This is the uterine event, then ovarian hormone level, then we have the ovarian event. One gland, the two types of the gland, two types of the hormones are participated in the process. One is the ovarian hormone and second is the pituitary hormone. So what happened when this event start at the first day of the event, that is the menstrual cycle or the vaginal bleeding? What happened actually? The uterine wall, the innermost uterine wall, that is called the endometrium. This endometrium loses its place. What happened in the menstrual phase? Endometrium, that is the inner lining of uterus, that is endometrium. Endometria start losing, and the uterus is unable to hold it. Why? Because low level of the ovarian hormone, that is called progesterone. Ovarian hormone, progesterone. This progesterone level becomes low, and because the low level of this progesterone, what happened? The uterus is unable to hold this innermost lining of the uterus, that is the endometrium, and due to that the bleeding gets started. Okay, this breeding process is started, and that is called the menstrual phase. So what happens actually in the menstrual phase? In the menstrual phase, the level of this low level of progesterone. Because of this low level of progesterone, this progesterone stimulates the pituitary gland. This progesterone stimulates the pituitary gland. Stimulate for what? It stimulates for releasing of the pituitary gland hormone, and that is called the FSH. It stimulates to release, to increase FSH. What is FSH? You know very well. That is the follicle stimulate hormone. Follicle stimulate hormone, it means it increases the process of follicle formation. Follicle formation that occurs in the ovary. This is the event that is occur in the ovary. So what happened when the level of the progesterone becomes low? It stimulates the pituitary gland to increase the level of FSH. And when the level of FSH increases, what happened? Here follicle start develop. Follicle inside the ovary, one cell of the ovary increases its size, increases more, and then it develops into Graafian follicle. It develops into Graafian follicle. It develops into Graafian follicle. So what happened that when the FSH is released, the Graafian follicle is formed. This is the Graafian follicle. Okay, the Graafian follicle is stimulated to make the Graafian follicle. I'm getting slow. Okay, I'm drawing it again. Follicle increase in size, and ultimately it develops into the Graafian follicle. This is the event occur in the ovary. This is the event which is occur in the ovary. What is this? This is the Graafian follicle. Why this Graafian follicle is formed? This Graafian follicle is formed because of this hormone, that is the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. So this follicle stimulating hormone forms the formation. It increases the stimulate the formation of the follicle. At this time, what happened in the ovarian hormone? Previously, the ovarian hormone, that is the pH, the level of pH is low, very much low in the ovary. Okay, at the time of the menstrual phase, the level of the pH is very low in the ovary. Now, what happened? The level of the level of the progesterone is as remain as, but the second hormone here, that is called the estrogen. The level of the estrogen becomes high. The level of estrogen becomes high. The level of estrogen becomes high. This is the hormone. This is the progesterone, and this is the estrogen. FSH stimulate ovary to increase the level of estrogen, and estrogen level increases at the time of the follicle formation due to the formation of FSH. Now what happened next? Next, this high estrogen level, this level of estrogen is maximum here. It stimulates pituitary gland. It stimulates pituitary gland to stop the secretion of FSH. What happened here? The estrogen level is high. Estrogen level is high. And this high estrogen level, it stimulates the pituitary gland. Stimulate the pituitary gland for what? To reduce the secretion of FSH and release the secretion of LH, that is the luteinizing hormone. Reduce FSH release LH, luteinizing hormone. It is the time when the estrogen level is maximum. At that time, luteinizing hormone is also secreted. At that time, when the level of estrogen is high and the luteinizing hormone is also secreted. This is the luteinizing hormone. This time, it is called LH circ. This time, when both the level is high, then this time is called LH circ. LH circ is actually the time when the ovulation gets on. What happened? This Graafian follicle released the ovum. This is the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte is released, that is called the ovulation. And why this ovulation occur? This ovulation occur because at this time the level of estrogen and the level of LH, luteinizing hormone, is maximum, and this is called LH circ. And at the time of LH circ, the ovulation occurs on the 14th day. This process occurs on the 14th day of the menstruation cycle. On the 14th day, this process occurs in the menstruation cycle. What happened? Now the production of FSH get reduces and the LH is released by the pituitary gland. Some changes occur here also in the uterine event. What happened? After this particular phase, when the follicular phases start, this inner lining of the uterine wall, endometrium, start repairing itself. Because of this repairing, it start repairing itself. The folds are formed here. This is the repairing. Okay, this occur in the follicular phase only. That is the repairing of endometrium. The repairing of endometrium occurs here. Repairing, it means it is a granular 2 to 3 millimeter granular mass. Okay, because afterwards we very well know that the fetus, that is the fertilized egg, is also get embedded in this endometrium only. So in this, after the ovulation, this endometrium makes large number of fold because it is prepared for the for further process. But what happened there? Because of the increased level of the estrogen, it stimulates the pituitary gland to reduce the releasing of FSH and start releasing the LH. When the amount of LH is high, when the amount of estrogen is high, this peak time is called LH circ. And at this time, the process is going on, that is called the ovulation. Now what happened after that? After that, two processes going on. First, this secondary oocyte get fertilized and it gets converted into the zygote and all the further process. Then this process gets stopped here. But if the fertilization does not occur, then what happens? The level of the progesterone is also start increasing. This level of the progesterone start increasing. This level start increasing because of the luteinizing hormone. This luteinizing hormone promote the progesterone to promote the ovary to increase more progesterone. The progesterone level is get high. Okay, and this high level of progesterone, again it reconstruct the endometrium. Endometrium hold this uterus is able to hold the endometrium. It reconstruct the endometrium. When this level get low, then what happened? Again, this is the for 28th day of the cycle. When this level gets in the low level, then what happened? Again, the bleeding, vaginal bleeding gets started. Vaginal bleeding gets started. Okay, what happened? First we see in the uterine event, in the first phase, the inner lining of the endometrium start loses because of the low level of the progesterone, and because of that bleeding continue for 5 days, bleeding arises, and that is called the menses. After that, this level of the progesterone, it stimulate the pituitary hormone to increase FSH, follicle stimulate hormone, the FSH, and LH is called the gonadotropin hormone. The FSH, this FSH is the follicle stimulate hormone. It start to form the follicle in the ovary up to the Graafian follicle. At this time, the level of the estrogen hormone is high. This high level of the estrogen hormone stimulate the pituitary gland to reduce the secretion of FSH and increase the secretion of LH. And at one time, the level of the estrogen and LH is at its peak, it is maximum, and that time it's called the LH surge. And at this time, the 14th day of this day, that is the ovulation occur. If due to the ovulation, if the secondary oocyte is fertilized, afterwards the fertilized for the pregnancy and all, then this process gets stopped here. But if this is not fertilized, then what happened? This is the corpus luteum. It gets start degenerating. This because of the degenerating of this, it increases the amount of the progesterone hormone, and when this the amount of progesterone hormone increases, it promotes the uterus to repair the endometrium wall, and it becomes the folder structure. It is here, it is of 2 to 3 millimeter of thickness. Here it is up to 5 mm of thickness. It is a granular part only. It makes a large number of fold. It influence, actually it is in the luteal phase. This occur in the luteal phase. It influence the progesterone to increase more. When the level of progesterone again goes down, the same process starts from here. That is the vaginal bleeding.